Om Shuklam Bharadram Vishnum Shashivarnam Chaturbhujam Prasanavadanam Dhyayet Sarva Vighnopashantaye Saraswati Namastubhyam Varade Kamarupini Vidyarambham Karishyami Siddhir Bhavatu Me Sada Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha Guru Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavadvyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma Vidvishavahe Om Shanti 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 Dayananda Rupam Vadacharya Mure. So, the previous class, we were looking at the verse Yato yato nishcharati manushchanchalamassthiram tatastato niyamya atmanyeva vasham nayet. So we were looking at this verse in the context of understanding the nature of the mind. So for whatever reason, yato, the mind, which is chanchalam and unsteady, nishcharati, goes away, tato, from wherever it goes, From there, you bring it back. Niyamya, bring it back. Where? To your own self. You bring it where it belongs to. And make it your vasha, swavasha. May you make it your vasha. Means you have a mastery over it. See, after listening to what Krishna said, because Krishna is saying the nature of the mind is to go away. So it is chanchala because it is not sthira. It is not sthira because it is chanchala. There is nothing right or wrong about it. That is how it is. If the fire is hot, is it right or wrong? We are not going to analyze why the fire is hot. Should it be hot? And we are not going to resist the nature of the fire. We accept that is the nature of the fire. So if the nature of the fire is to be hot and to give heat, to burn and give heat, what do? We just learn how to master it, right? How to make it conducive for our own use. So that is how the mind also is. Its nature is chanchala and asthira. So how you make use of it is in your hands. Then listening to this, Arjuna says, chanchalam himana Krishna. Krishna don't say the mind gets agitated. Mind itself means agitation only. And it is like a tyrant, pramati, and it is balavat and dridam. It is very strong and it is well rooted. And tasya nigraham is dushkaram. It's not sudushkaram. It's very, very difficult. It's not that easy. It's like, it's difficult, like just like the wind, you can't control the wind. Similarly, the mind also keeps moving. It's going fast. Sometimes there is a storm inside. You don't know what to do. So he says not only chanchala and asthira, it is also pramati, it's balavat, and it is dridam also. It's very strong in the sense it incapacitates. It has the capacity to bring your whole being, It takes charge of everything about you. It takes charge of everything. Your buddhi, your action, everything, your decision. The buddhi where there is buddhi is that which is decisive, right? That which takes decisions. Everything is robbed away actually. It's pramati, robs away, takes away. And Krishna says, yeah, no doubt. I agree, asamshayam. No doubt about it. The mind is capable of all that. Mahabaho, hey Arjuna. It's not durnigraham. It is really difficult because it is chalam, because it is always moving, it's agitated. It's difficult to control. I agree. To Kaunteya Parantu, but hey Arjuna, Abhyasena and Vairagyena Grihyate. It is not impossible. It is difficult but not impossible. By practice and also by being objective, you can always bring your mind and keep your mind in your vasha. Vasha is generally translated as control, but we will take it as master. There's a difference between master. A master is never cruel. Master understands. There is compassion, kindness, everything when the person is a master. But when you use the word control, it's almost like a slave. Cruelty is there. There is no compassion. There is no kindness. There is no understanding. So one has to understand the mind. When you understand the mind, then you are the master of the mind. It will do what you want to do. It becomes conducive. It doesn't rebel. But if you are controlling, the mind is always in a state of rebelling, right? Anything that you try to control will rebel. Start with your children. It will control. Anything you want to control, it will rebel. It will be rebellious. So with practice, you can master it. That is what Bhagavan says. Hence, one has to first accept that the nature of the mind is to be agitated, to move away. So now what happens? You don't blame your mind, nor you blame yourself also. Because you need to understand the mind. Once you understand the mind, then if you have to blame yourself, it is only for not understanding the mind. But now you understood the mind, right? Krishna has already told you that this is the nature of the mind, which means now you have understood the nature of the mind. So you should not blame yourself also. And you should not blame the mind also. So this acceptance allows you to relax. Thank God. So you relax now. This is the nature of the mind. Because many people, whenever you go for meditation, they will say, you have to control the mind should not move. This is too many things about everything that is against the nature of the mind. You should be without any thoughts. So all these things they will tell you. You'll be floating somewhere. They will talk about many experiences also. And you wonder why, and you open your eyes and see everyone sitting like this. And you wonder, you don't know why they are sitting like. They might be thinking of something and about their vacation or something else and sitting peacefully. How do you know they are sitting there because they are in a meditative mode? You don't know. So, and also you cannot force your mind, The mind, whenever you force your mind to do something, also it doesn't work. Why this agitation is there is also explained, not by Krishna, but later on Swamiji explains that in the modern context. I was telling you that we have to look at the psychological aspect of the mind. There is a psychological mind. A psychological mind means there are a lot of emotions, pain, feelings, everything is there. So generally, when you look at people who are given to addiction, in any type of addiction generally when we think of talk about addiction, we always think of smoking, drugs, alcohol and all that because they are not socially acceptable, Very socially non-acceptable things are seen as addiction, but something which is like tea, coffee, biscuit, chocolates, snacks, they are not seen as addiction. Not as, yeah, you know that you are addicted to it, you know that you're not able to do without it, but then you think you don't call it as an addiction. You just laugh at it. Laugh about it, and then, so you don't take it very seriously just because people are not going to ridicule you for that and reject you and all those social distancing. They won't distance. You won't be. It's not social distancing. If there is a drug addict, there is a social distancing. Keep yourself away from them. So when people with addiction, what is the cause for addiction? You get addicted to something because Addiction is also something where you crave for something, right? Addiction means you're craving for something. Without it, you're not able to be at peace. So, addiction is more for mental peace rather than physical need. So, why this addiction? Because you're whatever you're addicted to is drowning, is protecting you from some pain. So this it is covering some pain. So that's why you get addicted to something. It gives you some peace, it gives you some solace, some restfulness, because those thoughts are suspended. I told you, no, even while meditation, why you feel good while doing any meditation. Any meditation as a technique I'm talking about. I'm not talking about meditation as dhyana. Dhyana means always Ishvara is involved. Remember Sagadam Brahma Vishaya Manasa Vyapara. That alone is called as Dhyana. That is why even my group name is not Dhyana, Asha Dhyana, Asha meditation. Because meditation as a technique to help you to. Generally, most of the meditation which we do is either for relaxing, that so that you will have good sleep, or you get rid of some, you deal with some guilt or regret or anger or shame. So these are the things which cause agitation in the mind. These are the things which really make you feel restless. Even though it is not there in your conscious mind, but it is there at the back of your mind always, in all your interactions. Something is there bothering you all the time. And when you close your eyes, it pops up, bang, it comes. Because it knows now you are free. You are free to sit and worry. Now you are free to sit and feel ashamed. You have nothing else to do. You can sit and aram se feel agitated. So this, whenever there is an addiction and you want to get over that addiction, the minute you decide to get over the addiction, you become more restless. The reason is um, when you take away that, this is going to pop up. It is actually covering you, it's protection, it's sort of protection. Whatever you are addicted to. I'm not talking about this timurpicha addiction, that you are rich, or all this peer pressure addiction. All that, it's not because they have some issue, it is because of ignorance. I'm not talking about a habit, I'm talking about an addiction. Okay? Where you get addicted to something because of some pain. Some children, because something is available, because they are not directed, not advised properly, nobody to guide them, or even if they have parents to guide them, some prarabdha, okay, they get caught into all those things. Then they get addicted to it. That is also an addiction, but that addiction is more of physical, not emotional. So when you're emotional addiction, like one replaces the other, you find you are free from the pain. The pain may not be a conscious pain, it could be subconscious also. So the minute you want to stop, the mind gets into this fight flight mode. Then either you fight or you immediately it says, hey, this is not good for you, you are in danger. Then immediately you want to, it wants to protect you, the mind wants to protect you from the pain. That is one of the important roles of your subconscious mind, your unconscious or subconscious mind. It has to protect you. That's why sometimes when you are, like when you see something, the fear is actually, being afraid is not bad, because fear is required to protect you from certain dangers. It keeps you alive. So all fears are not bad. Here, this addiction is something which covers some pain. So when you want to stop it, the person, you even if the person is successful for a few days, after a few days, the person will start drinking more or smoking more or eating more or shopping more, more than ever. So you, and also the fact that you are not able to control yourself is also very frustrating. You feel you are a failure, I can't even control myself. That it adds to the pain. And then you drown that pain, you have to do something else. So how to deal with this? The first step is to accept that you have no power over uh, whatever addiction you have, because the problem is extremely deep rooted, Jadavat. Okay? And you need more help there. When it is psychological, then you need help from family, from friends, from society, counseling, therapy, all those things. And also you have to, and then also medication is also required, because all these, if it is something that you take in, like food, which is not healthy, junk food and drugs and all that, then you have to cleanse the body also. If it is just some shopping and all, how to deal with it? Deprive yourself of money. The source of money should find where this money is coming from and cut it off. Anyway, I'm just saying, if you are earning the money, then you think I have the right to do whatever I want to do with the money. So, that also is not going to help. You need counseling and therapy definitely. And if it is physical, then you need to do some cleansing. So these are called deep-rooted pain, unconscious and subconscious. So it's like pramati, it's like a tyrant. It controls you. But once you are able to really deal with it, you feel in control, right? Once you have with all this help and you're able to do it, then you will feel peaceful and all that. So such deep-rooted pain are called bhalavat, strong, drida, and well-rooted pains. And how to deal with this and all that, it comes in second chapter itself. Bhagavan talks about karma yoga and other things. A prayerful attitude is definitely required in such cases. When you go through the whole of Bhagavad Gita, you will understand all that. Bhagavan gives ways and means how to deal with the pain. Generally, it is prayer only. Nothing special. Prayer only. Through prayer, through surrender. A certain understanding of life and certain understanding, acceptance of Ishvara as Karma Phaladata. All this will help you gain some peace. And sometimes the mind, another reason for the mind to wander away is some thought suddenly pops up. Like you're not agitated or something, but you're sitting in meditation and some thought pops up. Even though it seems like illogical, but the mind seems to have a logic in what sort of thoughts it displays in the screen of the mind. Seems to be some logic, either because we have some Pura Janma Samskara, or this Janma also you have many Samskaras, because of which you have certain thoughts popping up. You may not know the reason, but just because you do not know the reason, that doesn't mean the mind is functioning in a illogical way. And mostly the thoughts are always about the past or either about the future. Past means definitely guilt, shame, regret, disappointments, anger. And future is also about fear and anxiety. All these because you get memes also, right? Nowadays, WhatsApp memes, Facebook memes, they educate you a lot. So this meme will tell you uh, anxiety is always about the future, pain is always about the past and all that. Okay, now I accept that this is the nature of the mind. These are the reasons why the mind also wanders. And manaha chanchalam astiram. Yeah, I understand and I accept. So just by accepting is the problem solved? No. Maybe 50% of the problem is solved. Because what happens when the mind is agitated, you don't say the mind is agitated. Sometimes you say my mind is agitated, or most of the time you say I am restless, I feel agitated, I am agitated. So we saw in the previous class that the mind is a tool, antakarana. Like you use a hammer, you use a screwdriver, or you use whatever, any instrument, or even your mobile. It's just an instrument, right? The instrument doesn't have a mind of its own. It's jadam. But then, even though the mind is an instrument, it is jadam, it doesn't have the ability to function on its own. It, it appears as though the mind has an independent existence, right? So what happens, you identify yourself with whatever is happening with the mind, with whatever is happening with the tool, and you say it is happening to me. So, so how to handle that? Yeah? So when you look at someone who is agitated, okay, many people get agitated, right? You have seen people get agitated. When you look at someone being agitated, feeling agitated, you just watch, right? You don't get agitated looking at them getting agitated. I'm not talking about your spouse and your children. I'm talking about generally. But there are people who, whatever happens, they don't get agitated. They are just observers, you know. So don't extend the example too much. Generally, when somebody is agitated, you only watch, and you are an observer there. You don't get agitated. You don't identify yourself with their agitation. You are just an observer. So you don't get agitated as long as you are an observer, right? You must have noticed all that. You just watch. You are very objective. You're being very objective. So there is a distance between you and that person's agitation also. Let us say, because we are talking about agitation, let us say there is a distance between you and that agitation, whatever agitation you are watching. Similarly, here too, when you have to discover, Swamiji says this, you have to discover a distance between I and mind. Okay? I have a mind. I have a body. So whatever is happening in the mind, you just observe it. You be objective about it. Don't take it too personally. Don't make it as identify yourself with this agitation. Only then, see, only when you have a distance between the mind and yourself, you can have mastery over it, right? If you identify yourself with whatever is happening, you yourself are agitated means who is there to control? Who is there to master it? The one who is supposed to master it also is lost. So you cannot be a master if you see yourself as a victim, or if you see yourself as someone who is controlled. So how to do that? This is the only way to be objective. You have a free will, right? That's why everybody has a free will. You have that knowledge. Now Bhagavan has told you that the mind is only an instrument. Now you deal with the mind as an instrument only. You don't identify with yourself with it. How to do, don't ask how to do. That is how, that he has told you that is how it should be done. So with this knowledge, next time when there is an agitation, you become an observer of it. You be an observer of what is happening in your mind. You know, actually, when once you start, suppose you are feeling restless or you are sad or angry, you take a moment, because at that time you're totally engrossed. You're shota swarupa or you are krodha swarupa, because at that time the mind has, as though the mind has robbed you of all your, that's what Pramathi we say, no? Bhalavadridam. It's completely taking control of yourself. So now you have to make a sankalpa that next time when this happens to me, okay? Next time when this happens to me, I'm going to be alert and observe. This sankalpa you have to make. So next time when something happens, again you will be Krodha Swarupa, Shoka Swarupa. But then after some time you will, last time I said that I will be alert. How did this happen? So next time I'll be more alert. So abhyasena. So this abhyasa has to come. That alertness, you have to bring that alertness. The minute you start observing your thoughts, I'm talking about disturbing thoughts. Okay, that which is agitating. Once you observe it, create a distance between yourself, it will disappear. You try this and see. It will disappear. It won't be there. Only when there is a distance you can master it. Remember that also. How to master? See, master means two things should be there. No, something to be mastered. The master and something to be mastered. So you and something to be mastered, the mind. So Krishna says, Abhyasena. By practice, you gain mastery over your mind by being objective. And this agitation also, furthermore, a little bit more of psychology. Everybody has an inner child. Swamiji talks about psychology a lot, so I also talk about it. And in fact, I was introduced to psychology only because of Swamiji, only through Swamiji. And he spoke to me about inner child and all that. And that is later on I got interested in psychology and hypnotherapy and all that and got into it. Because whatever you study in hypnotherapy is not opposed to generally, in fact, they say hypnotherapy is also not West. Hypnotherapy is also Indian one, like yoga nidra and all that. We have certain kriyas, how to take care of your mind. Everything is there in our dharma. But the West was very keen on taking it up as a subject, and so they are presenting it as though it's something very unique and special. It's not true. We have our own ways of dealing with the mind. But we have to give the credit to the Westerners also, because the way they have formed it, professionally and beautifully in a systematic way, they have presented it today. So we have to give them the credit for that. Everybody has an inner child, and what does inner child mean? In fact, in therapy, we have an inner child therapy also. When the inner child therapy is done, you can see a great transformation in the person. There's something it's very obvious. The person can actually see that immediately after the session, few days after the session. So inner child therapy is the first therapy which is recommended for everyone, and they come for therapy and they come with some pain or certain issues. So what is this inner child? It means as we grow, starting from the fourth month in the womb, the child is able to observe and understand emotions and feelings. Okay, so whatever happens around it, it observes and it stores in the form of emotions, in the form of feelings. So if the child is welcome, the child feels, oh, I am welcomed, I'm important, I'm special. It stores it in the form of a feeling, happy emotion. But if the child feels rejected, always there is an issue in the house, some fight is going on, so the child we do not know how the child may feel I'm not wanted, or child will feel angry. They wanted me and now they don't want me. Let me come out, kick them, I'll give them a tough time. It will decide there itself. Always angry, always sad, always disappointed, always feeling lonely, always feeling angry. All those things will be there. So like this, even if you have a healthy childhood, let us say, something happened when you were 2 year old, somebody said something when you were 3 year old, 3.5 year old, or 6 year old, and that stays inside, that pain will be there. So you grow up feeling I'm wanted, I'm important, I'm rejected, my mother doesn't love me, my father doesn't love me, all those feelings, I'm not good enough, low self-esteem, all those things are there. So either it could be in your perception they treated you like that. They may not have treated you like that, but your perception of your parents could be like that, or really your parents treated you like that, or your society treated you in a separate way. We don't know. But your conclusion is based on whatever they say and however they treat you, their behavior towards you, their attitude towards you. So that is how you also understand whether you're wanted or not wanted. So we are not going to discuss about whether what they did is right or not, but the point is everybody has this feeling, a conclusion based on your perception or based on other people's behavior. So the child continues to be there. So the 2-year-old is stuck there because the issue is not resolved. It has some belief, it has some opinion, it has opinion about itself and its opinion about others. So it is stuck there, Then the body, physically you are 3, physically you are 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 60, 75. But still the 2-year-old is still there. The pain, with the pain, it is still sitting there. 2, 3, 3.5, 4, 4.5, 5, 6, whatever. Up to the age of 8. Maximum up to the age of 8. The core person is formed. Then whatever happens there thereafter is depending upon whatever the core personality is there already. Anyway, we won't get into all that, but the point is there is this unconscious, subconscious mind where you carry a lot of pain. So this child is crying for attention, craving for attention, longing for attention, and there are, for some people there will be too many inner child. For some it will be one or two. But if you had a real difficult childhood, there will be too many inner children with a lot of pain. So all of them are in you. So some people just say is as though somebody is sitting there and controlling, not allowing me to do. It's not that you are possessed or something, but your own pain is controlling you. So it interferes with the adult you. So there is an adult you and a child you. Always there is a tug of war going on. But if many times you don't even know it is the child you. So it interferes and affects your decisions, your relationships, the way you look at the world, the way you look at yourself, everything is there. So this is another reason why the mind is agitated. One I told you Purvajana Samskara. So this Janma Samskara also is there. I told you, these are the samskaras that you have collected. And that is why the mind is also unpredictable because you do not know what is going to come next. Sometimes suddenly you respond or react to the situation the way it actually doesn't deserve to be like that. Then later on you realize, oh, I should have been patient. I shouldn't have said that. Why did I do that? Why did I burst out like that? Why did I cry? Oh my God. It was almost going on. And then you feel ashamed later. Then you wonder why you cried. Otherwise you wouldn't cry. But something triggered. And so you find yourself crying and all that. You feel ashamed for that also. So you add more. Later on you keep on adding more to that feeling. So that is why these thoughts, they are unpredictable. Suddenly the thought will pop up. You do not. So I told you, the mind is not always illogical. There is some logic why it's popping up is there. So how to master this mind? How to deal with this pain we'll see later. That is different. But how to master this mind? How to, because we are discussing about japa, remember. Saguna Brahma Manasa Vishaya Vyakara. We are talking about prayer. In the context of prayer, we are talking how to master this mind by discovering the distance between yourself and the mind. So this will help you to look at yourself in a very nice way. I am fine, only my mind is like that. So you deal with the mind. So when you see yourself as, oh, I am okay, it is very important to see yourself as okay. Unless you see yourself as okay, how will you even deal with an issue, right? So that helps you to be very positive, and it enables to see you see yourself uh, as a normal person, okay person. I'm fine. So that is first very important. So the more and more you see yourself like this and see that the mind is only an instrument, that also is an abhyasa. Being objective is an abhyasa. And abhyasa also means doing it again and again. It's not that today you try it after the class, oh wonderful, today the class was so wonderful, it was very helpful, yeah. Then you want to try it tonight itself, then you try. Either you'll see some result, or you may not see some result also. We don't know. But then you should not give up. Today it was nice, so everything is done. You can't give up. Today is not good, so I'll give up. That also is not correct. Abhyasena. You have to do this again and again and again. Keep practicing. Then only abhyasena grihyate. And where japa fits into this? We started with japa. So where is japa? We are going round and round, but we are not coming to japa. This is where japa comes. The practice of japa. Where we saw that the mind is unpredictable, right? I told you that you can't predict what the next thought will be. So even when you are focused in a class, or mind just suddenly will wander away. That is the nature. But you bring it back. Let's say you are in the class. So you are able to bring it back, and you're able to focus and listen. So how japa helps? In japa, you predict the next thought. The mind's nature is not predictable. What the next thought will be also is not predictable. The nature of the mind, and then also what the next thought also we do not know. Can be anything. This being so, since you cannot predict what it will be, you decide what your next thought should be or will be. Okay? So I make a decision. I predict it. So you decide. You fix it. You fix the next thought. So how does that help? Fixing the next thought, how does it help? Suppose you are simply sitting, no, so you close your eyes and sit. You didn't make any decision. You just close your eyes and sit. What happens after some time? Mind happily starts wandering, right? It goes, wherever. You do not know where it went. It went everywhere, all over the world. Maybe some few janmas back also. You don't know. Then suddenly you realize, oh my God, I've been sitting like this. Sat for meditation, nothing happened. Then you go about with your work, right? You want to sit and meditate, but the time is lost. You plan everything and sit. You decide and you arrange, everything is well prepared beforehand. Now I'm going to sit for 7 o'clock, I'm going to sit for meditation. You finish your cooking, you finish your cleaning, you attend to all the phone calls, you switch off your mobile and all that. You are sincere, you want it. But this is what happens when you simply sit here, you close your eyes. But then you wouldn't have brought it back also. You wouldn't have brought it back. It kept wandering. But if you fix or decide what your next thought is going to be, it's like anchoring. You will notice that when the mind moves. If you simply sit, you won't even notice that the mind has moved away. By the time you notice, already the time is up. You're tired also. It's very exhausting. Because even when you are mentally active also, it takes a lot of energy, right? So you feel exhausted and tired. But then when you fix the next thought, then you're consciously thinking of that particular mantra, or that particular shloka, or that particular form, So even if the mind wanders, you know where to bring it back. This is where I have to bring it back. You anchor it in that particular mantra. So if you are repeating Om Namah Shivaya, if you make a sankalpa to recite Om Namah Shivaya, to do japa of Om Namo Narayanaya, then you know what the next thought will be. After Om Namo Narayanaya, the next thought will be Om Namo Narayanaya. I have made a decision that is what is going to be my next thought. So this is how you fix it. In this way, you get to have a certain hold over your mind, the thoughts. And Your thinking process itself after few weeks or few months, everything changes. So next time when you close your eyes, the mind stays on what you want to fix it. It will stay. Because you have trained the mind. Because anyway, after meditation, you can go and start worrying, right? If nothing changes, you can go. I'm just joking, okay? So this agitation also comes down with the repetition of Bhagavan Nama. I told you, no, Bhagavan Saguna Brahma Manasa Saguna Brahma Vishaya Manasa Vyapara is the object of meditation is Ishvara. So japa being manasa karma in prayer, it produces adrishta, punyam. So the more you add to your punyam, the more it is going to manifest in your life, right? That's why whenever there is any chanchala, any uh, difficulties, they say repeat the name of the Lord, because repeating the name of the Lord produces adrishta. But you have to do it with shraddha, with surrender. Then you really feel you have the adrishta. Not only adrishta is there, even drishtapala of feeling peaceful and all that happens. So that is why mental repetition is very important. Every day one mantra has to be taken for japa, it could be a shloka or anything. So it is a must. So always remember that we are talking in the context of prayer, manasa karma. Kayikam, Vachikam. We saw about Kayikam and Vachikam. We are looking at manasa karma. Saguna Brahma Vishaya Manasa Vyapara. And prayer being a subkarma, it produces adrishtam. And even sannyasis have Omkara as a mantra. And they are given diksha. Brahmachari has um, Gayatri mantra or any other mantra. Then Grihastha also is initiated into many mantras. And Vanaprastha also has its own mantra, diksha. So everybody has some mantra, some shloka to recite. So you should also take up any mantra for reciting, for japa. So this has to be repeated. Then only it is called abhyas. Repetition is abhyas. So another reason, one reason why the mind wanders is because it is how it is designed, and the other reason is because it has this unconscious. The pain is there, which is and pain which is um, looking for your attention. And the other reason is the mind wanders because it is not interested in whatever it is doing. If there is any lack of interest, also the mind doesn't focus. So the nature of the mind is to go where something is very attractive or something it loves to dwell upon, right? That is how the mind goes there. It should be interesting. Whatever you're doing, whatever you're focusing upon should be interesting. You should not force yourself to focus upon something. It doesn't happen. Then you feel stressed, you feel irritated, you feel angry, you feel tired, you feel exhausted. All that happens. So you sit thinking that you should meditate and feel relaxed, and just the opposite happens. So if it is really something very interesting, something that you love, then it becomes effortless also, right? Your effort to focus also is not there. It's less effort or effortless. It effortlessly dwells upon something. Like when you read a book, it's also meditate. It's like meditation, but I told you for us, meditation means always Saguna Brahma Vishaya Manasa Vyapara. You don't meditate upon Agatha Christie and some thriller book, right? But your mind is focused. You don't call it as a meditation. You read something thrilling and feel excited also, where you are not even relaxed when you're watching some thriller movie or some pain movie, ghost movie, and all that. See, if it is something interesting, the mind dwells upon it and it moves towards it. If you love ghost movies, what to do? If you enjoy ghost movies, then your mind will be focused. So the mind goes towards what you love and also goes towards what your pain also. Okay, joy and also pain. That's why we saw all those things, no? The inner child and all those things. Why pain? Because pain also requires attention. Like suppose you have a wound and there is a pain. The pain is telling you, hey, look at this, there is a wound. Hey, look at this, there is a wound. Please heal it. Hey, look at it. Draws the pain draws your attention towards the wound. So there is a wound in the mind, wounded mind. Okay. The pain is only a symptom which there is nothing good or bad about pain. Pain is actually good because pain tells you and reminds you that there is something that needs to be fixed. Okay? Pain should not be seen as negative. Bhagavan has given pain to tell us that's one way of talking, right? You say, hey, look at it, there is something to be dealt with. You deal with that. You keep still. So don't feel bad about pain. Don't be in pain continuously. Keep licking the wound, they will say. Don't do that. Don't enjoy pain itself. Sometimes being a victim of something also gives you a good feeling. No, I am victim, I I'm so sad, this happened to me, that happened to me, they did this to me. You feel, because you get attention, you get sympathy, and that makes you feel good. Being a victim makes you feel good sometimes. There is a lot of advantage in being a victim. You don't want to come out of it. So the mind is very tricky, okay? So you have to be very alert. So the pain tells you deal with this and you deal with it, okay? Either bring a closure to all that. Ishvara as karma paladata, you look at Ishvara, okay, this is meant to happen, I accept it gracefully. Then even if you're not able to accept it completely, at least the fact that you are able to say, okay, I accept it gracefully, okay, because I'm supposed to accept it gracefully. Because Gita says that I have to accept it gratefully, I'm accepting it gratefully. What are you accepting? You're not accepting. You're just repeating something. You're forcing yourself. Accepting comes with understanding. Without understanding, you won't have any acceptance. You can't say you are following the words of Gita, the instructions in the Gita. Bhagavan didn't give you any instruction. If you want to continue to cry, you cry. No, he gives that freedom also. He doesn't say don't cry. Anyway, since the pain means there is something that needs your attention, you better address it. So effortlessly it goes towards what you love, and effortlessly it goes towards pain. Something that you want to avoid also it goes there. Because anything that you want to avoid also is a source of fear, right? So the mind will go there also. Anxiety is there, so it will go there also. So naturally it goes. Very naturally. Effortlessly it goes. So Krishna says the object of pain, okay, of any objects, if you have pain, it's bhalavat with dridam. And that can be taken care of because Arjuna said it's balavat and dridam, right? No, you can take care of it. Don't worry. Abhyasena, you can, and with a deeper understanding of the mind and nature of the mind, you can definitely have mastery over it. What about the mind going towards something that you love? Here, when I say the mind goes towards something that you love and something that is attractive, it's not something that you love. Ah, I love flowers. Not like that. I love to watch the sky. We are not talking that type of love. We are talking about longing. Any longing. If you have a longing for something, something that is a source of security that makes you, you know, without it I can't be anything of that sort. The mind will go there. There is a longing, there is an attachment towards it. So for that he says vairagya. So towards, if the mind moves towards pain, then abhyasena. What is the abhyasa? You have to be objective. A distance, discover a distance between yourself and the mind. That also comes by practice only. It doesn't come immediately. And what about the mind wandering towards the object of love. You sit for meditation and you wonder, oh my God, I should have gone with them. No, they must be having a good time at the theater, or they must be having a good time at the get together and all. I should have gone. Actually, the lockdown has been lifted. Why did I refuse? I should have gone. No. So all this, if you have a longing for something, then even then you can't. So there you have to have a vairagya, a dispassion. I give you a very simple example for longing, okay? But there are very strong longings also. So we seek, and another reason for this agitation is people always seek approval. Approval seeking is also there, and you want people to accept you. I don't feel accepted. I don't feel recognized. Even though people need to feel recognized, if that has happened in the childhood, okay, then the pain will not be there as you grow. But after you grow, if you still feel I'm not accepted, then it is something that is stemming from the childhood only. So this self-acceptance, non-acceptance of the self, and seeking approval, fear of being judged. Oh my God, fear of being judged. It can destroy your whole life. So all these things are also cause for agitation, restlessness, what they will think about me. All these things will be there. So this wanting approval and wanting to be accepted also is a cause for agitation. So now Krishna tells us how to do dhyana. Okay, how to meditate. You told now all the while you told me the nature of the mind, why it gets agitated, that it can be mastered. And all that. Okay. So now I have understood. What should I do next? Says yogi yunjita satatam atmanam rahasi stitaha ekaki yata chittatma nirashihi aparigraha. அப்படின்னா என்ன? May the yogi means he is referring to the one who wants to meditate. The one who wants to meditate, what should he do? He should remain ekaki. Ekaki means alone. Okay, not alone means I will explain. Okay, immediately don't pack your things. Okay, I'll explain. You have to be alone, or don't ask everyone to get out of the house. Ekaki, you should be alone. And you should in a quiet place, in a rahasi, in a quiet place, and with your body and mind relaxed. So if you notice, if you have attended my meditation class, you have noticed that I always first talk about relaxing the body. Then by relaxing the body, you relax the mind, or by relaxing the mind, you relax the body. We always focus on that, right, in the beginning of the meditation. So whose body and mind are relaxed, and one who is free from longing. The longing should not be there. You have to be free from longing, because if why do you say longing should not be there? What if it is there? If it is there, you can't sit with it. You will be longing constant. And then his mind also should be united, yunjita, should be united with, connected with the object of meditation. Whatever is the object of meditation, your mind should be united with that, not with something else. So the meditator, the dhyata, the one who meditates upon, one who wants to do dhyanam, so your mind should be absorbed in whatever you want to meditate upon. Not absorbed, that is the problem, na. It's not getting absorbed, na. You will say that. Yeah, practice. That's why we said if the mind wanders away, bring it back and all. We already told all that. So Your mind should be absorbed on whatever you want to meditate upon. You should be united with whatever you want to meditate upon. And the mind should be committed. You should make a commitment that now for the next 10 minutes or 15 minutes, set the timer and sit. This is how I'm going to sit. I'm going to fix my mind on this particular shloka or mantra or rupa, whatever. Then meditate upon it. When should I do that? Satatam. Always. Always means often, as often as possible. If you can do 3 times a day, if you are fortunate enough to do that 3 times a day. If you can do only once, do it only once. If you can do only for 15 minutes, at least regularly do it for 15 minutes every day. So we should understand it as always means every day. Not don't stop all your work and sit. It's not possible also. Till you have mastery. Once you have the mastery of the mind, you can sit like that. But till such time, because we are only talking about how to practice, right? So we are talking about abhyasa. And where should the meditation take place? Where should I take place? It take place. Where should I sit? In a secret place. Rahasi. Meaning in a quiet place. Don't get lost somewhere. You know? Nobody can find you. Such a secret place, nobody can find you. Not like that. In a place where you have no disturbance. Rahasi. And then either you can go to the terrace, or if you have a separate room, you can sit inside that room. Or if you have any ashram close by where they have a meditation hall and all, you can go there. Somewhere very quiet, where you don't have any disturbance. And with whom should I go? With whom should I go? Ekaki. You don't need any company because this is manasa karma. You are not going to dig something or do some physical work for which you need any assistance or some company to sit and talk with. You know, it's something very private and personal. It's manasa. It's a mental karma. So you don't need any company unless you carry them inside your head. That is different. You drop them also. Where you go and sit in a quiet place and think about everything. No, not like that. So you don't need anyone. You drop everything. Leave all the rules that you are playing and just go as you. Don't go as a mother. Don't go as a sister. Don't go as a spouse. Just you go. Okay? Leave all the rules and go. Ekaki. One is physically not taking anybody, and mentally also you should drop everyone. Don't carry them wherever you go. You don't need anyone. Then he says, Yata Chittatma. Chitta means memory. Okay, and because memory also will be there. Just because you are going to focus on something, it doesn't mean all your memory is going to get erased. All you are going to stop the memories. So memory will be there. So mind includes your memory. In fact, it is a memory which disturbs a lot in meditation. And yata chitta atma, he means yata means one who has mastered or one who has united both the mind and body. And yunjita, bring them together, means both are calm, both are, there is no agitation physically and also mentally also. Mastery, you have a mastery over the way you sit. See, every 2 minutes, if you are going to do this, that's happening, oh my, this is happening, then also you can't sit. So your hands and legs should be with you. You should not go wherever it goes. Sit in a proper position, a proper posture. So one needs to have mastery over one's body also, how you sit. That also needs practice from childhood. It has to come. Otherwise, you can develop abhyasena. That also can be achieved, or sit in a comfortable position. Then we'll continue. I think there is more. Krishna says more about it. We'll continue in the next class. स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्तां न्यायेन मार्गेण महिं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यं लोकाः समस्ताः सुखिनो भवन्तु काले वर्षतु पर्जन्यः पृथिवी सस्यशालिनी देशोऽयं क्षोभरहितः ब्राह्मणाः सन्तु निर्भयाः सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् असतो मा सद्गमय तमसो मा ज्योतिर्गमय मृत्योर्मा अमृतं गमय ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः 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 हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ